trolls on YouTube. Hashtag fair use commentary to illustrate what a bunch of dishonest scumbags CBS News is. You can still hear me.
In the past 2 months, we've moved weapons and equipment to Ukraine at record speed. Drones, grenade launchers, machine guns.
We're seeing this incredible, historic flow of weapons coming into Ukraine. Do we have any sense as to where they're going?
We don't know. There is really no information as to where they're going at all.
You know, all this stuff goes through the border, and then kind of like something happens, it kind of like 30% maybe reaches its final destination.
30% reaches its final destination. I'm no mathematician, but that means 70% doesn't?
30%? Are you concerned about weapons getting in the wrong hands?
I don't care at all whether that happens.
What sort of a unit do you command? Can't say. Okay.
You know, they're like power lords, oligarchs, political players.
One of the biggest targets are convoys like this transporting weapons.
Just a few more seconds. Stand by.
Europeans had come to believe that project of integration had effectively meant the banishment of armed force. All of a sudden, not far from the borders of the EU, was the most significant war since World War II.
CBS reports arming Ukraine. Watch now. Does everybody remember this? I mean, if my Twitter feed has been good for two things, it's been documenting my descent into madness, but also memorializing the dishonesty of the media and politicians. Let me refresh this here just so we can all see this. This was originally, you all may or may not recall, August 7, 2022. CBS News put out this documentary. The original tweet says, the new CBS reports documentary, Arming Ukraine, explores why much of the billions of dollars of military aid that the U.S. is sending to Ukraine doesn't make it to the front lines. Quote, like 30% of it reaches its final destination. Do you know what 70% of billions is? Billions. They put that report up. They must have gotten a call from somebody. Then they put up a tweet saying, we removed a tweet promoting our recent documentary, quote, Arming Ukraine, end quote, which quoted the founder of the nonprofit Blue Yellow, Jonah Oman's assessment in late April that only around 30% of aid was reaching the front lines in Ukraine. There was some more to that, but it doesn't really matter. They removed it, but I made sure that the internet would have it forever. And I remember screen grabbing, recording, whatever the heck you want to call that, at the time. Because I knew that it would age about as well as, depending what you're going after, it would age like milk if what you're after was cheese, and it would age like wine if what you were after was vinegar. Remember when CBS News confirmed that only 30% of the aid was reaching the front lines in Ukraine, then immediately had to delete, retract, and correct their report. And their correction was, paraphrasing it, by the way, things had gotten better since the report. That was the paraphrasing. I'm going to give this to everybody. Why would we start the show off with this today? I'm angry. I'm cranky. I'm tired. Went for a long bike ride yesterday, like 20-mile plus long bike ride on a gravel road, and it was longer than I thought. I saw a wild pig, which I thought was representative of the state of politics these days. Why are we bringing that up? You're going to see in a few minutes. Let me make sure that we are live across all of the interplanes of the interwebs that were good on Rumble, CommuTube, Viva.locals.com. Audio is loud and clear there. Let's see locals. I got some pre-show links of information that's going to be relevant for today's show because I'm going to talk about a few things, fake news being one of them. The absolute traitorous, disastrous response to what's going on in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, I think to some extent. I don't think people fully appreciate how devastating it is and has been, because I didn't fully appreciate it. And I consider myself to be something of a litmus test. If I don't really appreciate how disastrous it is or didn't, I suspect a great many people out there also do not. It's not like the media is going to be focusing on this all that much because it highlights federal incompetence, federal corruption, and federal dereliction of duty. I almost feel guilty thinking of my Peter Griffin duty joke. We're going to get there. We're going to get to all of it, by the way. But before we even do, we're going to take a couple of minutes to thank the sponsors of our show. And bottom line, you also have to protect your butts here, people. Monetary Gold. It's no secret that we live in very uncertain and volatile times. We're living through it and witnessing it on a daily basis. The dollar is collapsing. Faith in our monetary systems are at an all-time low while inflation is skyrocketing. No one has a crystal ball when it comes to the future. And the truth is no one really knows what's going to happen. One reality, you know that the government is not coming to help you. It's really important to protect yourself financially. I give myself the financial insurance by investing in physical, hard assets like gold and silver. Historically, gold and silver have been the safest investments and allows everyone to hedge their bets against runaway inflation. I urge you to take a closer look at protecting yourself and your investments as well. I personally trust the fine folks at Monetary Gold. They're legit. They'll take care of you. You can also move or roll over your IRA into gold and silver. Check for whatever penalties might be applied if you have an IRA, and there's certain limitations on rolling it over. Tell them I sent you. You can get $5,000 in free gold and silver for qualified purchases. Sleep well at night knowing that you're protected. Give Monetary Gold a call now. 1-800-476-1303. 800-476-1303. Third time's the charm. 800-476-1303. Or go to monetarygold.com. Check it out. Disclaimer, obviously. The past sometimes is prologue, but no investment is 1,000%. Although historically gold has just been, obviously, for obvious reasons, the gold standard. And if it's not hurricanes, it could be something worse. 5G free. Let's be honest. The government's track record on telling us the truth is about as reliable as politicians' promises. 30%, 38% of the U.S. That's 117 million people live within 50 miles of a nuclear plant. But don't worry, they say it's totally safe. Same thing they say about tobacco, asbestos, lead paint. I think the bigger risks to that are what we're witnessing right now up in the Carolinas. They've got a long history of pretending everything's fine until it isn't. Meanwhile, they've been quietly hoarding Radio Guard ACE since 2003. Why? Because when radiation hits, this stuff flushes out the dangerous junk from our systems. Funny how they're prepared, but we are not, and left high and dry sometimes. That's why 5G Free includes Radio Guard ACE in their radiation emergency kit. Meds for nausea, radiation monitors, so that you know what's really going on instead of waiting for the, quote, official report. Go to 5gfree.com. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off. It's another one of the Rumble partners also, 5G Free. It's great stuff with millions near potential risks. Why roll the dice when you can actually be prepared? 5gfree.com, promo code VIVA, 15% off. And now let's get back to how the government has money for everything else except for its people. I'm going to start the show off. I'm watching these videos out of on the Twitterverse, and it's tough to know what is accurate, what is real, what might be recycled footage from other disasters, what might be disasters from foreign countries that they, it's a disinformation war, and it's tough to parse through the information. You have to have reliable sources, people that you can trust. And I think I've got a mildly good network of people that I know that I can trust, and I do as much of a due diligence as I can. It's devastation. It's devastation beyond words. And if you haven't seen, I'm going to pull up some of the videos that are coming out of here. Jack Posobiec is one trusted source who obviously I rely on. These are a montage of the waiting lines outside pharmacies, outside Walmarts, outside grocery stores, because people don't have food, right? Like, you're going to see catastrophic levels of destruction that you do not appreciate from the you know what? Scrap this. No, hold on. Sorry. We're going to start with the Kamala Harris staged photo op that you can't appreciate how bad it is, how awful she is, until you see. It's a bit of a long one, but you got to hear this. The platitudes, the propping up of the victims for their own photo ops. And they accuse Trump of doing this, by the way. They accuse Trump of doing this. Meanwhile, Trump is doing more to raise money, get internet access to people who don't even have the internet to receive the paltry $750. And I do say paltry. $750 is a lot of money. And I'm not talking about crumbs like Nancy Pelosi. Paltry in that you're faced in your face right now with devastation that is tens of thousands of dollars at least. And they're saying $750. And we're going to get into it. Listen to this.
The president and I have been paying close attention from the beginning to what we need to do to make sure the federal resources hit the ground as quickly as possible. And that includes what was necessary to make sure that we provided direct federal assistance.
Body language is absolutely telling here. This is a woman who is uncomfortable, unfit for the position that she's been thrust into. I should say the position that's being hand selected for, not the typical position that she's used to, if you get my drift. I'm just going to read my notes, put my hands together, turtle up, look at her shoulders, shallow breaths because she can't even breathe with dignity.
And that work has been happening. I want to thank the governor for his leadership and his close coordination.
Listen to this platitude,
with
verbal
the
diarrhea
federal government,
coming.
with our administration, and I want to thank the local leaders for together creating a task force-like response, knowing that we are at our best when we work together and coordinate resources.
We are at our best when we work together. I'm not going to play the full 2 minutes of this. I'm just going to stop after the punchline. We are at our best when we work together in full task-like forces and coordinate with the coordination of coordinating together to be more efficient and unburdened by what has been.
Coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
$750. Listen to the way she says that, by the way. $750. This is like when, what's her face? Satan Incarnate 2. Kathy Hochul was talking about vaccinating 6-month-old babies. I know it sounds young, but that's what they say you got to do. $750. Listen to the way her voice goes up nasally because she's ashamed, maybe. Or she just knows that she's not ashamed, but it's laughable. It's an insult given what we're going to get into.
Immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, $50, providing $750 for folks, $150, $150. FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And
hey, Kamala, where the hell are they supposed to get that money if the banks are out? If they can't get to the banks because their cars are gone, if they can't get to the internet to even apply for it? Although, don't worry, FEMA people are going to be coming door to door. We're from the government. We're here to help.
You can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who
There are no homes left, Kamala, in some places. There are no doors to go door to door on. They're going door to door, and then you can apply online if you can get internet.
Not have electricity, but also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online.
Online, $750. People look at that clip and they say, this is what leadership looks like. This is what dereliction of duty looks like. It's enraging. It's enraging. You will be at your most vulnerable point and the government will do jack squat to help you. Oh, but here's $750. Here's your $750. If you can get it, if you have a door for FEMA to knock on, if you have an internet for application, if you get it that $750 within a week, and if you can find your card to get to a store, if you can find your wallet to spend the money, or if when you get to the store, there's anything left on the shelves, any of that baby formula. Look at this.
We're trying our best to get you guys out of the hospital. Please be patient. Thank you.
Says we're trying the best. Please be patient.
Thank you.
Anyone here for prescriptions only? Prescriptions only.
And for anybody listening, empty shells. We're looking at empty shells.
We didn't make it for the milk. Or Wednesday, October 2nd. Gone.
Okay, now it's really like the apocalypse.
More empty aisles.
Yep, you got the idea. All right. You get the idea. And why only $750? $750? Why that? It's for, before we even get into that, let's just look at some of this footage that's coming out that I'm not sure everybody's totally familiar. This was from AccuWeather Forecast, so I guess it's reliable enough that we're not looking at outdated, out of context footage.
Oh, we're gonna go from the app if we have to, guys. We can't quit. Love y'all.
It's the stuff of nightmares. We're going to memorialize this. Here, let's have a look at what's left. I'm not sure how the comparison is. Watch the highways.
No.
Washed out highways, flooding that has. I mean, it turned streets into rivers. Yeah, let's have a look at this one. Aerial footage. I mean, it's just pure and utter disaster. And in addition to the federal government having a response that makes Katrina look like a prompt response, absolute wholesale disaster. On the one hand, you got the media milking this for what it's worth in terms of lecturing people on climate change, climate crisis. Let me see here. Do we have it? This is check this out. I mean, it's pure devastation. $750. That's what we got for you now. But by the way, why don't they have more? Well, it's an amazing thing what happens when there's an expression, when the bell, not when the bell tolls, but when the chickens come home to roost. I'm not even sure if that's the right expression, but when the catastrophic consequences of dereliction of duty finally hit home. Look at this. Hold on. I'm going to get the surreal one. This is an article. It's an article from April 2024. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, allocates over $640 million to assist with migrant influx. April. This is before anything happens. This is before people now need, in an emergency, the funds that were, in theory, there for them in the case of an emergency, which have been allocated to other sources. What are those other sources? Well, here, look. DHS allocates over $640 million to assist with migrant influx. Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million to direct funding to communities receiving migrants and $340 million for a new competitive awards process. DHS has announced significant funding allocations aimed at supporting communities receiving migrant populations. Through the Shelter and Services Program, SSP, authorized by Congress, DHS, along with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, is providing $300 million in grants. The money will assist communities in offering temporary shelter and related services to migrants awaiting immigration processing. This is where some money went. A lot of money, which is now apparently the DHS is saying, well, FEMA doesn't have enough to get through the year because of all these natural catastrophes. They don't have the money to get through the rest of the year because of the natural catastrophes, not as a result of their mismanagement of the funds for political purposes. I put up that video, just outrage at the $750. They've got $750 for Americans, but billions coming back to the beginning now for Ukraine. Not just billions for Ukraine. You have to appreciate this. When we're going back now to that CBS report, which is going to pop its ugly fake news propagandist head up again when we talk about them being fake news as relates to the J.D. Vance, Tim but whatever the hell his name is, Walls debate. Go back to that now and appreciate that when they said 70% of the billions in military aid was not making it to the end, understand what that means monetarily speaking. They've lost billions of dollars in that they cannot account for in terms of the aid going to Ukraine. You imagine that the argument would be, it is such a dire emergency to support the war in Ukraine that it's worth the billions, tens of billions of dollars that's unaccounted for, lost, corruptly siphoned off, et cetera, et cetera. That is the only argument. It's such a dire emergency that we have to live with that collateral damage, that being the loss of billions and billions of dollars. Let me just see if I can bring this up, because I want to bring up I can't bring up the replies when I bring it up in incognito. This is when is this report from? Just going back, January 11, 2024, beginning of the year. Over $1 billion of U.S. military aid to Ukraine not properly tracked. Pentagon. What happened there? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a little bit later, July 25, 2024. Pentagon finds another $2 billion of accounting errors for Ukraine aid. Then I had one more that was sort of reiterating the $1 billion. Then what do we have here? The last one. Why are nearly 40,000 U.S. weapons sent to Ukraine unaccounted for? They have lost more in aid to Ukraine than they've invested. I say invested as though it's like they have to invest in their own communities. Than they've spent in Lahaina, East Palestine, and the Carolinas, Georgia, as a result of this hurricane combined. I mean, you have to fully sit down and let that sink in. They've lost more money funding foreign proxy wars and funding illegal aliens in this country than supporting the citizens whose taxpayer dollars were squandered and laundered. I mean, and people are supposed to think that this is leadership? Kamala Harris standing in front of the ruins of somebody's property, talking about giving them $750 when they have not in total given American citizens who paid into that pool what they lost supporting that corrupt war in Ukraine and that corrupt Ukrainian regime. Here. And then you get the sycophants on the interwebs who are defending it. You understand this is the amount available under FEMA's Special Needs Assistance Program that has been in place for 25 years, right? You further understand that this is for emergency needs and that other money is available for rebuild. Oh yeah, if and when you get it. Lahaina people, tell me how much, I don't know, what did you guys get from Federal Emergency Measures Act, whatever the heck that FEMA stands for? How much you guys get? East Palestine. Did Joe Biden take 1 year to go visit East Palestine? I think he did. I might be mistaken on that. Correct me, chat. And you know Biden has asked for much more funding for FEMA, and the House has not authorized, correct? Oh, okay, thank you for the heads up there. You know that they gave prepaid debit cards to illegal immigrants in New York City, right? You know that? I think it was $2,000. Can you imagine? The response is quicker, faster, I mean that's the same thing, and more fruitful, more bountiful, monetarily more impressive for illegal immigrants. I mean, the bottom line is $2,000 for the victims of this hurricane would do jack squat. There's nowhere to spend it. Oh, but you got Kamala Harris on a plane taking notes on a blank paper with earbuds that are not plugged into a phone, and then dumping on Trump for actually setting up a fundraiser to raise money for the victims of this hurricane. If it doesn't enrage you, it might be because somewhere deep down you think that the people in these areas deserve it. And there's a great many people who think that these people deserve it. Yeah, I guarantee you there are people in the media who think this is what climate denialists deserve. I guarantee you, because I've seen it. Don't play these videos because they're disgusting. That there are people out there who say, well, I saw a video. There's some racists up there who got what they deserve. These godless, demonic people who don't believe in a God then sit there saying, yeah, they get what they deserve. The people that they hate getting what they deserve, and the federal government that was elected to represent them squandering their taxpayer dollars on foreign corruption, foreign wars, illegal aliens, and when the time comes for them in need, the government leaves them high and dry, waiting in lines for empty shelves. I'll take this one here. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will probably never know the difference. Chet Chisholm's in the house. Hold on a second here. Let me put this back up here. I'll put it back up. I sent you a tweet from Chris Martinson that makes the hurricane response all that much worse. It's sickening to watch. Hold on. Chet. Okay, I see it right here. Well, actually, let me just go retweet it so that I can then just bring it up here. And I'll bring it up right now. Chet, thank you. I got more. I mean, we're gonna. How do I retweet? Just go like that. For discussion here. We're gonna retweet this. What the heck, man? Just go like this. But hold on, no. We'll get to the theme a little bit. There was a good thread on it, which I have in my backup window right here. Check this. No. I probably just closed the window. That's great. I think I closed it. No, I didn't. Good. It's still here. Hold on. Bada bing, bada boom. Share screen. Yeah, let's check this out. This is from America First Legal. It's a gold check mark, which means it's an organization, right? This account is verified because it's an official organization. Good. Over the last 4 years, the Biden-Harris administration has steadily transformed FEMA, the agency responsible for responding to natural disasters like Hurricane Helene, into an illegal alien resettlement agency that emphasizes DEI over public safety. And there's a thread. I'm going to give everybody the thread to this tweet. Emergency food and what did I just do here? Take this up. The program may also receive funding to award the National Board of Distribution to local service organizations that provide humanitarian relief to families and individuals encountered by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Then we go to the second thread. The Shelter and Service Program is designed to exclusively provide shelter and services to illegal aliens. Over $1 billion in taxpayer dollars have been allocated between fiscal year 2023, fiscal year 2024. Number three, example of $1 billion. FEMA gave $38 million to New York City, a sanctuary city overrun by illegal. Is that what the $2,000 in prepaid credit debit cards came from? The $38 million that came from FEMA? Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. Actually, I didn't realize that when I brought up that tweet from which predated my discovery of this one. Moreover, the Emergency Food and Shelter Program has been reshaped to provide funding to, quote, families and individuals encountered by the DHS, aka illegal aliens. 5, beyond allocating billions of taxpayer dollars to illegal aliens, the agency has been entirely captured by the equity agenda, a euphemism for discrimination. And then we got a little DEI or DIE or IED. And then we got 6. We won't go down. We'll go down. For example, one of their initiatives to address equity by prioritizing casework and evaluation for direct housing eligibility for vulnerable populations to include those with access to functional needs for those who have a primary language other than English. 7 of this thread. They even went so far as to publish a post-disaster guide for local officials and leaders in November for achieving equitable recovery. And it goes on. Summary of equity goals. I'll give everybody the link to that so you can go watch it. This is the government. This is your government. Link. And I'll give it to vivabarneslaw.locals.com here. Link. It's absolutely enraging, and there's no end for it. You got Joe Biden coming out. Oh, Joe Biden getting his photo up, getting in the face of this baby, and this baby now has looked into the eyes of evil. They accuse Trump of going and get the photo ops, exploited. They are what they accuse others of doing. What we're seeing across North Carolina right now is bigger than politics. There are no red or blue states. We are one United States of America. What you are is the United States. This is the Biden administration for Ukraine, is what you are. It's the Biden administration for illegal aliens, which is what you are. And we're seeing the disastrous fruits of that right now. Look at this. This is from the article that I found. Is DHS allocates $640 million to assist with migrants. Just so you keep track of my receipts, so to speak. Bring that one down. Well, that's what's going on there. Oh, the tweet from Martinson. Let's go pull that one up. Let me just haven't seen what that one is just yet. Chris Martinson, courtesy of Chet Chisholm. Check him out, by the way. He's been on the show at least twice. This needs to go far and wide to put pressure on the government to do the right thing and save lives. From Chris Martinson, PhD. This evening, from a Peak Prosperity member to me via PM at my site. I can't post this online because it's not quite public yet, but the government officials had a town meeting with all of the residents of Chimney Rock and basically told them the town was being bulldozed. Bodies and all, and the land was being seized by the federal government. They would not be able to move back, and basically their homes, the ones that were standing, were no longer theirs, and the federal government owned it all. I don't know what crazy play this is for land. There's some argument, there's some theorizing that there's lithium in the ground there. As someone who lives in Charlotte and has friends who live in the area of Western North Carolina, they are not being helped, and this is actually being a stand-down operation by the federal government. What the heck? That's quite disturbing. Is this first-hand, second-hand, or more distant info? Our friend owns an Airbnb in Chimney Rock. They had a town meeting yesterday, and some from the federal government told them all of these things in the town meeting, but doesn't want the information getting out. Also, they are not picking up the bodies. The stench of the bodies everywhere is insane. For some reason, the government does not want to pick up the bodies. One pastor at a local church was going to order to door delivering I guess it was going door to door delivering water, and they changed their delivery request to body bags because this is going to be corroborated by what I heard in our locals community in a second. I'll bring this out to you as well. They're not picking up the bodies. They don't want to identify the bodies, and they're just leaving them to rot in the streets. I can't even, I'm stunned. This is beyond anything I could have imagined. And even very recently, you always pick up and bury the dead. It's what humans do. They are violating every possible custom on purpose. Thank you for keeping me informed. People need to know this. Let me know when you be comfortable sharing it, anonymized, of course. You can post the message needs to get out. Something evil is going on in the North Carolina mountains. I just didn't want to be identified. Just today, we filled up a trailer for a shelter in Hendersonville, North Carolina that had no food for tons of moms and babies. All the stores around are empty or locked. In Charlotte, North Carolina, 2,000 people haven't eaten anything or drank in 6 days and just got an SOS message out for help. I'm trying to tag the Cayenne Navy and operation, but people are dying by the minute. Multiple truckers have reported having tires slashed. Our friends from Chimney Rock said they have heard multiple stories of people being robbed at gunpoint, making supply runs. 2 people that drove down to Charlotte yesterday and today. One we helped said bodies in trees all over ditches in major roads. Something weird is going on here. God bless you. Let me know if I can help. Then something with a large national megaphone needs to amplify how bad it is. People are now starting to die trapped. My town is Operation Airdrop North Carolina Central Command. They need pilots with planes and now are asking just for trucks. People with big equipment are needed, but more than anything, the nation needs to put pressure on Washington to deploy the National Guard ASAP. The 82nd was begging to go since Saturday, but has been told to stand down every fucking Apache. We should have flying rescue missions. Please amplify the message. Now let me see the one that I got from our locals community, which I brought up beforehand, and I thought I might not be able to find it. I'll have to go to my locals and see all the way at the bottom here. Sorry. If someone can repost it, let me scroll up, load more messages. Sorry, give me a second so I can bring this one up because I asked for the link and then someone actually gave me the link. Okay, guys, so bear with me for 30 seconds because I thought I had this already up and the chat is loading. Is it going to load? Well, it's not loading more. If who gave me that link to talking about there being many more bodies than being reported dead, if you can put that back. Here we go. This is it. Okay, thank you. John Rich. Just to corroborate a little bit of what we read on Chris Martinson's tweet. Cancel. John Rich, right here. Just spoke to a friend of mine in law enforcement in North Carolina. He said that they have, and I quote, already used over 500 body bags. And there are bodies in trees, mud, cars, houses everywhere. No Fed support whatsoever. And John Rich is founder of Redneck Riviera Whiskey Oligarch. So that is John Rich. So that's what's going on. But no money, people. Sorry. Mayorkas said they spent $1 billion on illegals, so they do not have enough for hurricanes. Well, I don't know if he said it quite that way, but he said FEMA's out of money. They don't have the money. They're all tapped out. It's amazing that this is how, they say bankruptcy happens very slowly than all at once. This is what they mean. You piss around, squander your money when you have it, or at least when you think you have some disposable income, disposable money, which is not yours in the first place. Piss it away off your pet projects of treating illegal immigrants better than American citizens. And then the shit hits the fan in America and you're like, oh, well, shit. Sorry, guys. We spent all your money already. I hope it felt good while we did it. Little Joe says, love your show, Viva. I've been watching since the first fake impeachment, but rarely comment. I really need to reactivate my locals account so I can get the bourbons with Barnes too. Little Joe, first impeachment, man. That's 2019. I remember that. I remember where I was when that was happening. Good to see you back and good to have you back. So I don't know how you stay optimistic in this. Look at this. Look at this. This is the footage that, here, 750 down. She might be the newest, most annoying voice that makes your stomach turn. Look at this. This is the stuff of nightmares.
All right, we got to think about getting out of here because this is going to be.
What do you do after this?
James, you all right, bud?
I mean, the things that are going through my neurotic, obsessive, compulsive, hypochondriacal mind. Bacteria in this water. Electricity. I mean, I guess electricity has to be shut down already. This is from Hendersonville, North Carolina.
All right, we got to
David Road via Storyful.
Going to be.
That is 4 feet of stagnant water. For those of you who are listening to this on podcast.
James, you all right, bud?
That is a woman holding a cat in her lap, sitting in stagnant, festering, water. I mean, Lord knows what's in that water. I presume the electricity is also nobody needs to worry about getting electrocuted. And then where's it going to recede to? Sorry, $750. And I really think that's almost it. But let's just here. Let's just go with one more to really make your stomach. Look how she loves wearing the seal of the vice. Does that say the vice president or does that say? Okay, thank goodness it only says vice president of the United States. She's not yet usurping the role that we know has been relinquished by demented Joe. Listen to this, and we're going to end this segment on this.
I've been reading and hearing about the work you've been doing over the last few days, and I think it really does represent some of the best of what we each know can be done, especially when we coordinate around local, state, and federal resources to meet the needs of people who must be seen, must be heard. These are
must
very
be seen,
difficult times.
must be heard. This DEI progressive platitude, you're heard. Trudeau says it. Chrystia Freeland says it. Jagmeet Singh says it. Kamala Harris. I won't say what it makes me want. It makes me want to puke. I'll say it. It makes me want to puke listening to these scoundrels who need to be seen. Are they seen and heard, Kamala? Here, I see you. I hear you. We'll come knocking on your door if one's left to give you your $750.
Must be seen, must be heard. These are very difficult times. And in a moment of crisis, I think that really does bring out the best of who we are. And you each
Platitudes.
that important and good work. So I'm here to thank you and to listen. And Senator, I want to thank you for the work that you've been doing on behalf of
They sit around and they jerk each other off while
talking
people
to me
die.
and the president and many others about making sure that the federal resources get to this beautiful state. So thank you all. I've been reading and hearing about the work.
It makes me sick and it makes me angry. They are sitting around stroking each other's egos, probably stroking other stuff, patting each other on the back, job well done, while people, by all accounts, are dying, rotting in trees, rotting in ditches, going hungry. And what do we know? We're a week out from this thing. $750. Joe Biden gives his first press conference 4 days later. Sounds like a sick old man with COPD. There's nothing wrong with being sick, old, or having COPD, but not when you're supposed to be leading the most powerful nation on earth. Leading into a freaking ditch is what's going on right now. Serenity now. All right, we're gonna end on the CommuTube in a few minutes. Let me just scroll up here and see if I haven't missed anything. Go to the chat for a few seconds. J.R. Williams says, "Can you go to the FEMA homepage and then expound on what that means for Trump supporters in the devastation path?" Oh, you wonder if there's anything political about this? A month out from the election, make them suffer, demoralize them, not just demoralize them, make them understand. Make them understand that they care about non-citizens, illegals, and foreign wars more than they care about you. They have more money for that than they have money for you. It's your own gosh darn money that they have squandered and laundered. And then they sit around in their nice, clean, dry, electrified rooms with their beautiful jackets, patting each other on the back of a job well done. All right, people. Let me give everybody the link to vivabarneslaw.locals.com and CommuTube, and you can get your butts over there so we can have the party where the party deserves to be had. There, and I'll give you the vivabarneslaw.locals.com link. Here, link to locals. Oh, we got more. We got more. We got a good segment on. We're going to come back to CBS News. Fact checkers. How many times I've got to fact check the fact checkers? And my goodness, am I good? Whew. All right. Locals, what's going on in here? Let's see what's going on in the chat. I'm going to go down all the way to the bottom. These people wouldn't vote for Kamala, but luckily they won't be able to vote, says Finboy Slick, tongue-in-cheek. I know that he's being sarcastic, but, you know, politics ruins everything. Social Clipper says, taxation without representation, shades of 1776. How will this end? Joe Mascu says, never let a crisis go to waste, says Joe Mascu. And then we got RP McMurphy says, also, when Joe Biden went down, they closed like 300 miles of airspace so helicopters couldn't get in for 4 or 5 hours. I saw a video of Pete Buttigieg talking about how they're not letting people fly recreational drones, which I can sort of understand. But the 250 gram, where's my drone? Here, hold on a second. Oh, sorry, dog. You know, a bigger drone might be able to cause, you know, oh God, what the hell's going on here? A bigger drone can certainly cause problems for planes, and even a smaller one can as well. But you know what they have now that exists, and they're absolutely incredible and amazing. They've got little drones, 224 grams, 249 grams takeoff weight. And this thing is a lifesaver if it can detect people en route. This thing's a lifesaver if it can detect people stranded in vehicles. But, you know, Pete, racist highways, Buttigieg, apparently is declaring, no, nobody's flying drones because the feds are busy doing nothing while people die. $500 for a DJ. This was the Spark 2. It's amazing. I don't sit here like, what the hell can I do? Like seriously, what the hell can I do? You can donate to fundraisers. What the hell can the rest of us do? I think I smell something coming from the dog. Absolutely only the dog. All right, let's get on over to Rumble and or vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Clips will be posted later. The entire podcast will be posted on Podbean and all other platforms where people listen to things. So these are the links. Okay, get out. Now we're ending on YouTube. Okay. Oh, it's going to end on Twitter as well. Whatever. Come on over to Rumble and Locals, people. Updating the stream 3 to CBS. You're gonna want to come over. Come on. vivabarneslaw.locals.com or Rumble. Boom.